Committee is usually 4 speakers, 8 minutes. We have 9 signed up. Do we want to? And as we typically do, we're going to do like 2 against, 2 support, and then if we decide to suspend the rules and hear more speakers, then we'll go support against. All right. So pursuant to Council Rule 28, the public comment at committee meetings is limited to items that appear on the committee agenda. All public comment speakers must present proof of Tennessee residency, and I think that's been taken care of. All right, so I'm going to take the first 2 against, and speakers, you have 2 minutes.
Do you want me to
If you would, that'd be great.
Sure.
All right, I think first up is Kelly Coverly.
Yes, thank you.
If you want to come forward, you can stay there or come forward, whichever you want to.
Okay, this is fine. So my name is Kelly Coverly. I'm an Army veteran. I served honorably for 3 years. My husband served honorably for 10. And I've been a tech worker here in Nashville, Tennessee for the past 16 years. I also help to run a local nonprofit organization called the Veterans Corporate Council. And we help other veterans, active duty military, Guard, Reserve members advance their careers. And we help to retain that veteran talent here in Nashville. I attended the meeting February 19th when the Boring Company presented their plan for the Music City Loop. And I do appreciate their willingness to work with local authorities. And I thought that Metro Council brought forward a lot of really valid concerns, such as, asking, hey, will the Boring Company make a profit? Is the Boring Company willing to share some of that profit with Metro? And don't forget the concerned citizen, the young lady that brought up some environmental concerns. Specifically, this region is known for sinkholes that will swallow national museums. And also, sometimes we can have pretty intense flooding strong enough to float a single wide trailer down I-24. I can't think of a better city or a better timing for a project like this. And the best part is that it's privately funded at a time with historic Nashville, Tennessee tax increases. I respectfully ask Metro Council to support the Music City Loop project and work constructively with the state when required. Guys, this project is not just about boring tunnels, it's about progress, and that will make the city better for everybody, including residents and visitors. Lastly, is that it?
You got 10 seconds.
Okay, lastly, I think that this is a win for Donaldson specifically. I love that the project is kicking off in Donaldson, especially after losing an icon like Monell's. And this will drive tourism. Thank you.
Right, next up is Anthony Venable, who is speaking about the boring resolution and is against.
My name is Anthony Venable. I live in Nashville. I was born and raised. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here to voice my support for the Music City Loop project and to urge the council to approach the decision with the mindset Nashville is going to need for the next 25 years, and that is build for the city we are becoming, not just the city we used to be. Nashville's traffic problem is a growth problem, and we need growth size solutions. Anyone who lives here knows the pattern, the same bottlenecks, the same unpredictability, the same hours we lose sitting still, whether you're commuting to work, trying to pick up your kid on time, getting to a medical appointment, or simply trying to make it across town without leaving 45 minutes early, just in case. And in Nashville, traffic isn't just an inconvenience, it is a workforce issue. People turning down jobs or housing because the commute is unbearable. A public safety issue, congested streets, slow emergency response. A quality of life issue, families losing time, real time together. An economic competitiveness issue. Companies and conventions choose cities that grow. The reality is we cannot widen our way out of congestion. We are running out of the right of way, and every surface solution becomes a trade-off. More lanes versus neighborhoods, sidewalks, trees, bike safety, and Nashville character we're trying to preserve. The most valuable thing about this project, it adds capacity without adding surface chaos. What makes an underground grade separated transportation option different is simple. It doesn't compete for the same limited space at the street level. If we can move a meaningful number of trips, especially airport to downtown trips, off our busiest corridors and downtown streets, we reduce pressure on the routes that carry daily commuters, downtown congestion during peak hours and major events, and constant rideshare gridlock that piles up in the most walkable parts of our city. That relief matters even for people who never use the system, because every diverted trip is one less vehicle on already overloaded roads. Reliability is the real win. Thank you.
Right.
Chair, may I interject?
Yes.
I just wanted to note that I believe you said you were going to alternate support and opposition.
I was gonna do 2 against and then 2.
My apologies. Yes, sir.
And so now, Manon Hall, who is speaking on the resolution 1712 in support.
Yeah, I'm here today in support of the resolution. The goal of it is to identify the ways that Nashvillians and council members have not been privy and included in the process. This is a plan that was designed behind doors, signed on behind doors, and that was the process, and they thought that was the way that they could do it, and the way that was okay. And I'm here to say that Nashvillians and council members on the floor deserve the opportunity for their voice to be heard in opposition to this process. This process has been, oh, I like that, I can see the timer, that's cool. I think what I would love to see is the opportunity for the whole council to vote on this item. I prefer for this, I don't want this to be deferred. You know, regardless of what the state will continue to do, this is a beautiful opportunity for council members to use their voice in line with what their constituents want. This feels like the same way that people have been pushed out from Nashville for the last 20 years. You know, developers and contractors and the wealthy ruling this city, while the working class, the people that make this city who it is, are kept out of the conversations. It's unfortunate for me when I see people that are transit advocates who speak in favor of transit all the time are now saying like, oh, this process is okay. You know, they are privileged to be in the place of access. And what I'm asking for is these decisions to not be made from places of access, but from the people that live and make Nashville who it is. Thank you.
All right, next up is it Shawnee Glapian? RS 2025-1712 in support.
Yes, I am asking for you all to not defer Resolution 1712. I am an Antioch resident. I'm even here with my shirt inside out to let you know that I am coming in and as my own person, my own being, and I am asking for you all to listen to the community, give let this get out of the Rules Committee so that the council people can speak on behalf of their constituents. This is not the place to make the decision of whether the city gets to be heard. This is not about who can pay for enough people to come and be a part of the conversation and sway votes. We are here to have it hit the council floor. We want it to, we want people to be able to be heard and their voices to really be able to make that difference. This tunnel we had a community meeting last night. People are opposed to this. Oh, I'm sorry, they're one finger. The people are opposed to this tunnel. They don't want to see it in this city. It is for tourists. As you can see, the different people who have spoken at for the Metro Authority, it focused on tourism. It did not focus on how myself, an Antioch resident, can really benefit from this traffic. We're going to have more cars involved, even though they may be underground. That's not going to get the cars on the surface street removed because it is it goes to specific places, right? And so it's not going to it's not going to relieve the traffic that we think it's going to relieve, or you hope that it relieves. This is about listening to the community. The community is speaking. I've been talking to the community as well. They've been emailing you all. This is not Vandy students. This is not the Chamber of Commerce. This is community.
Thank you. All right, we've gone through 4 speakers and 8 minutes. Is there any request or motion from the floor about public comment?
How many folks do we have on the wait list?
There are 9 people total, so there are 5 that have it.
Chair, is there a way to make it through? We got this,
Yeah, we have
and then
like
come back and
19
then-
people to interview.
and then if there's time at the end before the council meeting, is it possible to do, maybe do that so that
I would
we?
prefer if we're gonna do it, we do it now, but,
Okay.
and not, like, I would rather close public comment and not reopen it.
Okay.
Wait, let me put it, I would, if we wanna extend it, I'd rather do it now, and that's my preference, but, just because we're gonna get close to,
that's
and we're
what
gonna
I'm
have a lot of people coming in, and we have 19 interviews to do, so,
Right, that's what I'm suggesting.
Right,
We
so-
may not have time before the council meeting is my only concern.
correct. I still don't believe I've heard a request, I'm sorry, yes.
I would move to suspend the rules. You're talking about 10 additional minutes, 5 people, 2 minutes each.
Second.
Do I ask this, do we ask to suspend the rules, or do I take a vote?
I believe the request was for a rule suspension, correct? So yes, it would
So,
need two objections.
does anyone object to the suspension of the rules? Okay,
I would just suggest that we limit our comments when our interviews so that we get out in time.
yeah. All right, so, next up is Sean Green, who is speaking against.
Hello, everyone. I'm writing to share my support for the proposed The Boring Company project in Nashville, Tennessee. I support this effort because it expands safe, reliable transportation capacity while complementing the other mobility options our city is already investing in. I also appreciate that this project is structured to move forward without requiring private funding from local taxpayers, and instead focuses on performance, delivery, and accountability. That kind of model matters when residents want results without added financial strain. From my perspective, in the transportation and safety space, the best outcomes comes from a multi-mode approach. Roadway improvements, transit, pedestrian safety, micromobility, and innovative solutions that reduce congestion and improve access. This project adds another tool to that toolbox, not a replacement for existing modes. Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right, now I'm gonna move to a support, Mara, is it Echterling? Mara?
They were in line outside. They didn't think that they were gonna be able to speak, so
Okay.
we went to get them. So
Simroth?
there we go.
Mara? Simroth?
Mara is here now.
Mara, okay, Mara, you're up to speak.
Where do I go?
Right there's fine.
Right here? Okay.
You have 2 minutes, she's gonna give you a finger,
1 minute remaining in time.
Okay. Started?
Yep.
Great. Well, mine is pretty simple and quick. I just want to speak on behalf of the resolution that Councilmember Porterfield has put forward. I support this resolution because of the Boring Company's lack of transparency in relation to its, or regarding its relationship with the Metro government. Obviously, they have been working very closely with the state government, and everything that they seem to be doing appears to be technically correct, and it appears that that technicality is what is really getting them by, although it is very clear that Metro has been boxed out of this. So I think that this resolution should make it out of this committee, so that we can talk more about it. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. All right, next, now I'm gonna go everyone, so now, as far as I can, Thomas Cleary. Thomas Cleary?
I'll just go right here if that's okay.
That's
so-
fine.
so everyone else in the room. So my name's Thomas Cleary. I'm actually an intern at the Boring Company. I'm also a Vanderbilt student, so I've been in Nashville for about 4 years. I just want to speak on my own experiences and what I can talk to, and that would be, we talk about residents and use of residents here, and I just will say, as someone who's been here for 4 years as a resident living outside of Vanderbilt without a car, something like this system would actually provide an extremely meaningful transportation option for me, and I know other people within my area. Just getting from our campus or anywhere around our campus to the airport in and of itself would be a bit of a lifesaver. You know, there have been too many times where I've been at the airport and it can cost 30 to 40 minute wait for an Uber. And you know, this is only one problem for the transit system as a whole, and I recognize that, but I do think it's a meaningful solution for, you know, a sizable demographic, and that extends past the Vanderbilt community. I have people at Belmont that I know and others, so that's my 2 cents, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Simroth.
Yeah. So, what I want to start off by saying is, the only reason this exists, all this plan exists, is just because of the circumvention that's gone around just basic democratic norms. So, the Boring Group, they'll say all kinds of things. They'll say this is entirely publicly funded. While within the past 2 weeks, they've spent millions to create state funds, to create a state committee, designed entirely to circumvent this entire process, just like they've done the whole time. They'll promise, like they did with Vegas, 104 stations, 68 miles. 6 years later, 8 stations, 6 miles. They will meet with the Nevada governor as soon as they get $400,000 in fines from OSHA, and they'll collude overnight within 24 hours for it to disappear. Right here, 2 weeks ago in the other room, they said they needed 5 more permits. 6 days later, they said they'd already started tunneling. You can't add a bathroom in your house without a permit. And this city's trying to talk about tunneling without a permit. Keep that image in your head. That's what we're enabling. Boston, New York, Baltimore, all talk. At least 7 years. At least 7 years of permitting before they start digging tunnels. Nashville, 7 months. We're endangering people's lives, endangering a lot of things by how we're implementing everything going on.
Thank you. And last, we've got Kevin Hogan against the resolution.
Awesome, thank you. As a resident of Nashville for the last 5 years, I couldn't be more thrilled that the Boring Company has decided to invest in our city. As construction on the Music City Loop gets underway, privately funded with no cost to taxpayers, it's time to focus on the real wins this project brings to our city. Nashville is one of America's fastest growing places. Our airport handles record passengers, downtown pulses with tourists and events, and traffic clogs our roads daily. The Music City Loop changes that. Residents and visitors can arrive at BNA and step into a clean electric vehicle for an underground ride to Lower Broadway, the Music City Center, Vanderbilt, West End, or as a former Tennessee Titan, hopefully soon Nissan Stadium, not to mention 30 other potential locations in just 8 to 10 minutes. No surface traffic, no gridlock, no wasted time. That's faster, more reliable travel for residents heading to catch flights, workers commuting, families, and the millions of visitors who fuel our music, hospitality, and economy. Because it's 100% privately funded by the Boring Company, we get this modern infrastructure without diverting a dime from schools, parks, or our existing transit needs. It eases pressure on overcrowded roads, reduces wear on highways, cuts vehicle emissions with zero emission rides, and creates construction and operations jobs right here in Nashville. The math is clear. Fewer cars on streets means less congestion for everyone, a boost for local businesses from easier access, and a stronger, more connected Nashville that matches our innovative spirit. This isn't just a tunnel, it's a smarter, safer way to move, preserving our roads, welcoming growth, and keeping Music City moving forward. And hopefully soon, this system will be underneath all of Nashville. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. All right, so we're going to move into our agenda. I've got 2 things, I think, on consent, because I think most of it's going to be pulled off for various reasons. So what I've got on consent is RS 2026-1825, a resolution urging the Tennessee General Assembly to support House Bill 1893, Senate Bill 1702 to permit metropolitan governments to lower the grocery tax rate, and the bill on second reading, item 7, BL 2026-1292, an ordinance readopting the code of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, Tennessee, prepared by Municipal Code Corporation, including supplemental and replacement pages thereof containing certain ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted on or before August 20th, 2025. Do I need to pull any of those off?
Mr. Chair, could we add agenda item number 3, RS 2026 1805, a resolution approving?
So,
There's an abstention.
There's an abstention on
Oh,
it.
okay.
I think we'll move through it pretty quickly. Can I have somebody move those to the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? We're at 8. All right, thanks. Now, we're gonna go back to, the beginning, and we're on Resolution 2025-1712, a resolution opposing the Boring Company's proposed tunnels within Nashville and Davidson County, condemning the company's lack of transparency and inadequate community and metropolitan council engagement, and troubling labor and safety practices, affirming that public land and public infrastructure decisions must prioritize the welfare, safety, and express needs of Nashville residents, and reiterating the Metropolitan Council's commitment to real, equitable, and community-driven transit solutions. Sponsors Porterfield, Toombs, and others. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it is before us.
Remove the substitute.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. Yes, we've got a substitute, and we have Councilmember Porterfield is there. I knew you were in here. Would you like to speak to your substitute?
Yes, thank you so much, Chair. Thank you to the committee. I've been here so much at this point, I feel like I am a member of the committee now. Thank y'all so much for hearing this substitute. In essence, I did hear some feedback that there were some concerns about the use of the word condemn. So part of the substitute is removing the language of condemning the company and instead using language that's saying that it's opposing. It also adds the word many in one case where it says like Nashvillians are opposing it. It says like many Nashvillians. And then also something I think is really important is that it adds the information about the special call meeting that was had. So it does acknowledge that meeting that transpired. So that is the essence of the substitute. Most of it is very similar to what we previously saw, and I would appreciate if you all support the substitute.
Thank you. Any questions on the substitute? And you requested or moved? Did you move?
I moved it.
All right, and there was a second. All in favor of the substitute?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, now, I think we already have moved the resolution as substituted. Is there any discussion?
So, Chair, as we all know, this is a non-binding resolution, right? So it doesn't have the effect of making anyone do anything. However, this body often uses non-binding resolutions as our opportunity to speak to the public. Taking the feedback from colleagues, the language in the substitute is not as I hate to use the word condemning because that's the word that was taken out, but it's not as condemning as the original language. It's saying that the caption says we object to basically the process of how this has come about. It says that we oppose the project because of ongoing concerns. If this was we hate this project, go away, the language would just say that the council opposes the project, the end. Instead, it asks for continuing conversations with the Boring Company. There are 4 items in the actual meat of the resolution, asking for continued conversations, asking for some follow-up on some concerns. So I don't see this resolution as opposing, per se, the Boring project. I see it as saying, hey, the way this has come about, we have a problem with that. We have some ongoing concerns. We want to still be in the loop. There's some proposed state legislation out there that doesn't include us in terms of this proposed authority. I don't know where that legislation is. But because this is going through Nashville as a council, we need to let the public know that we have our eyes on this, that we're continuing conversations with the boring company, that we are hearing the concerns, and we're actually getting to the facts. And so I don't see this resolution as a condemnation, as a flat-out opposition to the project, as a cutting off all relationships with the boring company. I'm just seeing it as saying that, hey, we've had concerns, this is why we've had concerns, and we want to continue the conversation and have you address those concerns. And so I will be in support of the resolution.
Thank you. Anyone else? We ready to vote?
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate those comments, and I guess I sort of see it from the other side of that coin is that deferring or voting, not supporting the resolution is not necessarily an endorsement of the project, but a recognition that there are still conversations to be had and that there's some space needed to allow those conversations to happen. There's been reference made to the legislation at the state level that would have a great impact on this project and future ones. Those conversations are very much ongoing. That legislation, I'm told, can change significantly going forward, but I think the outcome of and the disposition of this resolution will impact those conversations. So I would like to see us leave some space for those continuing conversations, because I feel like saying at this point that we oppose the project, while it doesn't necessarily impact what's going to happen with this particular project, as was noted earlier during public comment, this is ongoing. There's drilling happening probably as we sit here, but I think it does have the potential to have extreme unintended consequences, both regarding that state legislation and in a myriad of other ways, because we know that this project has a lot of supporters at the state level. So for that reason, I'm going to move for a one-meeting deferral.
Second.
I'm going to go to Councilmember Sepulveda, but I see you.
Yeah, I'm going to speak against the deferral. And the reason for that is several. And being on this body, what is it now? How long have we been here? 6 years. 6 years. And seeing everything that the state has done, and y'all are going to get tired of me speaking about this, but I'm going to keep speaking about it. The state of Tennessee has preempted us on local hire, right? So it was spoken about how many jobs this is going to create. The state of Tennessee won't even let us hire people from our own state. It won't even let us do a specific threshold in like our contracting. It won't let us have contracts, written contracts with all of our subcontractors. We have seen so many people die in our city. Nashville is one of the most dangerous cities to work in construction in the South. We had young people, 20, 16, die in our city, building this city. When we're talking about this is going to come at no cost to the taxpayers of Tennessee, what about the cost of lives? What about the cost to the families, right? We are talking about real concerns that community members have about safety. And that is not something that we can just ignore. The state of Tennessee has ignored safety for a very long time. This is why they have not funded TOSHA at the level that it needs to be funded. This is why we created the Contract and Compliance Board, to make sure that our metro sites are safe. And it has taken a very long time to get it to the point where it needs to be, and it is not even at the point where it needs to be, and it is frustrating as hell, and there is still so much work that needs to be done. And so when I get passionate about the safety of our workers, it is because I have been on the ground. I have seen how hard it is for them to just get basic decency, basic safety equipment, and basic training. And so when we are talking about making sure that this happens properly and that there is basic permits happening and that we are having a conversation that is adequate, then we need to make sure it's happening, because I listened into the conversation that was had in the special called meeting. I did not attend because I knew what was going to happen. I did not attend, but I listened in, and what happened at that special called meeting was unacceptable. And so when I say that we need to not defer this and let it go to the floor, I am being serious, because if I need to make sure that this room and the next one is filled with workers, I will make sure it is filled with workers, but because we need to make sure that we are taking care of them. So I appreciate you, Councilmember Spain, but I'm going to speak against the deferral. We need to make sure that we are having a good conversation about this.
Mr. Chairman, can I just ask a clarifying question of council?
Yes.
We've already had 2 automatic one-meeting deferrals on the floor out of this committee, so another one-meeting deferral is not automatic or binding on the floor, correct? This still goes to the floor for consideration.
That's correct, Councilmember. A one-meeting deferral would not be binding on the body for full consideration. The current motion would not be binding.
Thank you.
Because of the 2 times.
Yes.
And there were three, help me recall, there were 3 deferrals. 2 of them were 1 meeting and 1 of them was a 2 or 3 meeting?
A 2-meeting deferral,
Good.
yes.
All right, any other, yes, Councilmember.
Thanks, and I think that's a very valid point to make, that this is going to the floor. No matter the action that we take on this current motion that's before us. I'm in support of the motion to defer, because I think we do need to keep the door open. Personally, there's a lot of emotion on both sides of this, and I have my own issues with the company and the overall effort, and I've expressed that. But I also recognize that it's a difficult situation in that we can make a statement, but the project still moves forward. And so I would rather keep the door open to dialogue than to close the door altogether. And I fear that's what we're in jeopardy of doing if the resolution itself is passed. I also believe that, well, first off, I want to say I'm appreciative of the sponsor for the change in the language, because I think that that's helpful, but I don't think that change went far enough, and that I still feel that the resolution itself is still pretty condemning, even though it took the language of condemnation out of it itself. There's not a lot of room on the resolution for anyone other than somebody who's just outright opposed. And the outright opposition, I feel, has been tainted by the politics of it. The metro versus state politics, the anti-Elon politics, and all of that. And it's like, I really feel like we need to find our way to separating all of that and try to figure out what is ultimately best for the city of Nashville. And I think the resolution itself is not ultimately what is better for Nashville. And so I support the deferral motion.
I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to say I kind of disagree that, I agree that the discussion has been fairly political, but I think there are lots of different folks that have lots of different reasons for their position on the bill. I'm going to vote against the deferral. I appreciate the clarification that it's not automatic. However, we've deferred it 3 times. We've talked about this a lot. We've heard from speakers at 2 of the committee meetings, and I believe it's time to send a recommendation to the council rather than a deferral. So I will be voting against the deferral. Is there any other committee members that want to speak? Councilmember, yes.
Thank you, Chair. I will be super brief. I know y'all have a long agenda today. I'm going to ask you to vote against the deferral. I would like to just respectfully push back on making this about one individual. This isn't about Elon Musk. I don't know that Elon Musk is named in there. I think that he's not. I painstakingly wrote this. When I did this resolution, I didn't ask staff to say, like, hey, like, you write this. Like, I painstakingly wrote this in a way that was purposely not attacking the state. because I know that that will be a contention point for many people in this body. And Councilwoman Sepulveda said something that us second-termers know to be very well, and first-termers will probably get a little bit more acclimated to this. There's a notion that we go through every single term, every other year or so, and that notion is about poking the bear. And there always comes a conversation of if something happens to us at a state level, we should not say anything back, because if we do, we're poking the bear. And the thing is, like, there have been so many times that we've stood down and we didn't say anything about it, and the bear still did what a bear is gonna do. So there is no, like, this is not intended to, like, take a dig at the state. This is not intended to be anything political outside of giving a voice to Nashvillians. We've been deferring this since December. I've not been up here, you know, pressing y'all. I've been in agreement with this deferral up to this point. We need to make a decision, and we need to just vote it up or down. If you're not in agreement with the language, I respect that, and I will respect the opportunity for you to vote it down on the floor, if that is what you so choose to do. But I'm going to ask you to please vote against that deferral, and let's have this conversation with the full body. Thank you.
Councilmember Parker, I am going to remind the body and that we have like an hour and a half of interviews, and the council meeting starts in an hour and 22 minutes. So if you could please be brief.
Yes, sir, extremely brief. So I appreciate this body's consideration, and you've got a deferral motion before you. You know, this term we've set a precedent with some resolutions that were more directed at like foreign policy matters, that the Rules Committee deemed those were not appropriate to be heard on the floor. And I know this is not binding. I was under the impression heading into this meeting that this would be binding, but I understand that it's not. But that being said, I've heard great arguments for or against the resolution here in this body today, but I have not heard a structural argument as to why it should not be taken up by the Metro Council at large. So I would ask that y'all recommend against the deferral, and as far as process goes, get this to the full body for consideration tonight. Thank you.
Thanks. Are we ready to vote? Yes.
Just a quick reminder that no matter what we do, it still goes before the full body.
Okay. Are we ready to vote on the deferral motion? All in favor of the deferral? All against the deferral? And is that everybody? Everybody voted. All right. So 4 and 4. That does not pass, correct?
No,
All right.
it's not passed.
So can I get another motion to move the resolution?
Move for approval. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, can we do that again? I didn't get the count. In favor, 1, 2.
Are we continuing discussion or moving straight into the vote? Sorry, Mr. Chair.
I am trying to push us, but we need to have discussion.
We'll have time on 4.
I did slip that in there because I really do want to move on. Because we're about to like go into the meeting time. I'm sorry. The yeses again, please. Okay, and the noes. Right. Okay. All right. So we recommend 4 in favor, 4 against.
No recommendation. That's not a recommendation.
No recommendation.
No recommendation.
Okay, no recommendation. Okay. All right, next we are going to go to RS 2026-1801, a resolution urging the Electric Power Board of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville, Davidson County to terminate the employment of Teresa Broyles Applin as Chief Executive Officer of Nashville Electric Service. Sponsors Benedict and Johnson, and I see Councilmember Benedict here. And once we have a motion, all right, I'm going to give the floor to her.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, colleagues. So I'd like to move, or if someone on the committee would move for a deferral to the meeting of June 2nd. That will allow, that's a little bit over 90 days. That's going to allow this independent study that's been ordered and approved by the Power Board to be completed. I did share a little bit more in the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. You guys always have a packed agenda, so I'm glad to share more with you now, unless you want to go watch that, or I would encourage others to go watch that. But if you would just approve the 90-day deferral, I'd appreciate that, or rather the deferral to the meeting of June 2nd.
So move deferral to June 2nd.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right. 8 favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. All right. Resolution approving the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County. Pulled off the consent agenda because we do have a abstention, but can I get a motion? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Not voting. All right.
I'm on the list.
No. We did RS 2025-1825, late filed resolution by Toombs, a resolution approving a total of $1.5 million to the Hospitality Hub of Memphis and amending an interim housing services grant contract between Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Office of Homeless Services and the Hospitality Hub of Memphis to increase the grant amount to the operation of interim housing and case management services, 95 Wallace Road, Nashville, Tennessee 37211. Can I get a motion? Okay, thank you. All right, Councilmember Toombs, can you speak, Chair Toombs, can you speak to the date filed nature?
Defer to Director Wilson on the late file nature.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm going to defer.
Oh, can you speak to the late filed?
Yes, Chair, it is my understanding that that funding for this contract may run out in the next few weeks, and the late filed nature of this would ensure that funds would continue to be available to the Office of Homeless Services. I do see an official from OHS here if you would like to recognize her further explanation.
Yes, would you?
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name
The
is
late filed nature.
Yeah, my name is Raquel Zulawerga. I work for the Office of Homeless Services. The nature of this one in particular is that we have a contract with Hospitality Hub, but based on their invoicing nature, they have funds that are set to run out in a matter of weeks, if not less. So we're in the process of invoicing from January and February, and there's a possibility that that will fulfill the amount that they've currently been provided. And the issue is if all of the funds are expensed before this resolution is approved, that their contract would then be void, and we would have to restart the entire process of contracting with Hospitality Hub. And we have individuals who are currently residing at Roadway Inn who are relying on these services. For a variety of reasons, we had both the ice storm as well as we were just able to fill our contract monitor position a matter of weeks ago, and after many, many months of not having a contract monitor. And so we're really hoping that this can move forward. We want to make sure that the services being provided by Hospitality Hub do not get lost in this.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Ready to vote? All in favor of late filed nature of resolution?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, thank you. All right, next we've got another late filed resolution by Toombs, resolution approving an amendment to a continuum of care grant agreement between the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Metropolitan Development Housing Agency, replacing the original grant recipient with the Office of Homeless Services as the replacement recipient of the continuum of care, the programming grant in the amount of $465,701 for continuum of care planning activities. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All right.
Chair, I defer to OHS on the late
Okay.
file nature.
And we just need to find out about the late filed nature, why we need to act on it today.
So we've been in this process since November of 2023. It's been halted by multiple shutdowns with the administration as well as changes in the federal administration. Our concern is the notice of funding opportunity for the continuum of care could drop at any moment. And as it has, and it's changed, and we've needed to submit litigation in relation to it, and so we want to be able to secure our position. We are legally the cloud applicant. We were legally established as the cloud applicant in February of 2025. This grant is just to secure that we have the funding to be able to fulfill that obligation.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right, thank you. All right, we did the second reading bill, late ordinances, late filed ordinance, an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, zoning ordinance of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by amending the River North Urban Design Overlay District for various properties located on Cowan Street, Cowan Court, and Waterside Drive, to create a new Subdistrict 3 and update the general standards related to future streets and open space, all of which is described herein. Council, can I get a motion?
Oh, pardon me.
Thank you, Councilmember Koopman.
Pardon me, Chair. Can we take up items 8 and 9 together, because it looks like they're companions?
Can we?
You can.
Okay. Also, we're also gonna take an ordinance to authorize building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2026 blank, the River North Urban Design Overlay for properties located on Cowan Street, Cowan Court, and Waterside Drive to create a new sub-district 3 and update the general standards related to future streets and open space, all of which is described herein. Councilmember Coopin, can you speak to both?
Yes, thank you, Chair, and thank you to the committee. This was a clerical mistake on my part. There was a bill that came through that I thought was a different bill, and so I did not sign on by the deadline and realized it just a few hours afterwards and reached out to the council office, but of course by that point it was late filed. This is just first reading of that bill. There's planned community engagement around this with some folks flying into town for this community engagement in April. And so I hope the committee will allow for a late filed nature, again, just putting it on first reading to get it moving for the public hearing in April.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion?
I'm gonna let it go.
Like I should give him a hard time. I'll come back next meeting to give him a hard time with this shorter agenda.
If it were passed on first, or if we're placed on first reading for our next meeting, would it still be able to track for public comments at the first meeting in April?
So actually, I looked at that because that was my first preference, was to just file it then. And public hearing notice has to be 21 days, and that meeting is exactly 21 days, but it has to pass first reading, so by the time we noticed it wouldn't be enough time. Had that worked, it became very close. Had that worked, I would have just moved it for next meeting.
Move for approval. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye. Everybody gets one.
Any against? Any not voting? And that's on both of them. All right, thank you. All right, now we are moving to, today we have a board and commission election that we interviewed last time for the Transportation Licensing Commission. The nomination, and we interviewed him last time, Mannon Hall, nominated by Councilmember Parker. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right. Now we're going to start our board and commission appointees and nominees. We're going to start with the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission nominee appointment of Daniel Caparella. Daniel, are you here? Daniel? Okay. Actually, can you find Aria Dang?
Okay.
Aria, you're here.
here.
Okay. Let's if there's no objection, can we let Aria go? She's kind of planning, but there's a reason I think you need to.
I appreciate the consideration.
You could also straighten that one for us. All right. Aria is up for the Planning Commission for a term expiring March 31st, 2030. We've seen you recently, like I think you finished a short term.
I did.
And so if you could speak to your experience so far. I am gonna remind all the nominees that we probably have half the time to do all the interviews we want instead of committee members. So we do need to kind of move. So I'm sorry if we feel like we're not asking enough questions, but can you just tell us about what your experience so far, why you'd like to continue on the Planning Commission, and
So I've served since December. I've been to 4 meetings have occurred in that time. The experience I think has been wonderful. I've greatly enjoyed it. I think extremely impactful to the community as we're watching the city grow exponentially, making decisions on the growth of the East Bend, new overlays and subdivisions. I appreciate being part of that discussion and the thoughtful nature that goes in both from the planning department, all the material they give you to read, from the community that comes out to speak to us, while reading Nashville Next and the CCM specifically, combining all of this to come together and hopefully produce our most thoughtful response for each of these rezonings. So with that, I would hope to continue for the next appointment of, I believe, it's 4 years on the planning commission.
Yep, that's correct. Any questions for Ms. Dang? Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? Thank you. Oh, and I forgot to put out the, I don't have
Oh, I think they.
the, are they down there near
I grabbed one
Ruffle?
earlier. Yes.
Parking passes. I have one.
I have one already, thank
I
you.
have one WeGo card today. All
I'll
right.
leave it for somebody else, but thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Let me go backwards. Back to. All right, did we find Mr. Caparella?
Yes, that's
All
right.
right, join us. So you have been appointed to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission. Tell us a little bit about your interest in that commission, the time commit. You feel good about the time commitment it will take, and what your goals are.
Sure. Yeah, I feel good about the time commitment. 4-year term, meetings once a month on Mondays. That works for my schedule. My background is in transportation planning, but I'm also a cycling advocate. I feel that I have a lot of knowledge to bring to the committee, and I think we're at a critical point where we have sort of a flood of local money to spend on safety improvements and walking and biking infrastructure, and I feel that I could make a difference on the committee in helping direct the mayor's office and NDOT and local agencies in delivering on some of the promises and goals that were laid out in Choose How You Move, as well as the various planning documents that Metro has undertaken in the past few years.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions? Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
And I don't know that I said, but Daniel Caparella for a term expiring March 7th, 2028. I think that was, I heard the in favors. Anybody against? Any not voting? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next is the Civil Service Commission reappointment of Alicia Jones for a term expiring March 31st, 2031. Come on up. Is it Alicia?
It's Alicia.
Alicia, I'm sorry.
There's no H in there.
Okay. You are reappointed. This is your second
It'll be my
term.
second
It would
term.
be, okay. So tell us a little about your experience and what you'd like to do, why you're wanting to continue, and what your goals are going forward.
Yeah, it's been a great 5 years. I've learned a lot. I've been there for the civil service employees. I think I've been through 4 pay plans, and as you can imagine, that's been really fun. Always for the employees. But I think that my HR expertise and my background has really helped me with this committee, and I'm dedicated and committed to another 5 years.
All right. And you definitely have time to do the work.
Yeah, I
and
definitely have
have you on the Civil Service
I think I've
Commission?
only missed 1 meeting, and that was due to a work conflict.
I've been kind of asking this of different commissions, boards and commissions. Like, do you all ever have? You all always are able to meet quorum and never have any issues with having to postpone meetings, or does that happen every once in a while?
Maybe once we've had to reschedule, but it's not normal.
Okay. Any questions? Yes.
Well, I have a question. So you all met this morning, right?
No, we did not.
No, you did not. Oh, okay, then never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
better before, never mind. Thank you.
All right. Any others? Yes, sir.
Just wanted to add in for 2 seconds that she must be awesome because she's a District 31 constituent.
I am, thank you.
All right. Anything else? We're ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Did those?
Oh, yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right. And now we've got a number of Board of Equalization candidates. If you don't mind, I would kind of rather do this in a little bit different order because we've got a mix of members and alternates. I know when the Equalization Board meets, as they do quite frequently these days, there has to be at least one member at the meeting to run it, right? And then the alternates can help fill in other spots. So I'd kind of like to go through and do the members first, and then go back and do the alternates. Is that okay? Sure. All right. So first up for the Board of Equalization is the appointment of Lori Cast. No, I'm sorry, that's an alternate. Sorry. Reappointment of Alexa Colton for a term expiring April 14th, 2028. Ms. Colton. Hey, tell us a little bit about your experience on the Board of Equalization. I hear it is like, there's a lot of activity these days. Tell us a little bit about that and why you'd like to continue.
Well, I've learned a lot, especially this past year. It's a 2-year term, but I was a hearing officer for around 5 or 6 years prior to that, so I've been through a reassessment year before, so it wasn't as quite daunting to me. But I've, as a board member, sometimes we have to run the meetings as the co-chairs or the chairman aren't there. And I'm very comfortable running meetings, in case, things, and I'm very comfortable in that leadership position as well, yes.
Thank you. Any questions?
I guess I have one question. What, is there anything that y'all need, as far as the, there's been a lot of public conversation about like the speed of the appeal process and those kinds of things. Are there deficiencies that you feel like you should elevate to this body so we could support whatever that looks like for you guys?
Well, we have a really good rules in place, so it's like a 15-minute timer, and to make sure that those meetings don't get to a level of escalation. And if they do get to a level of escalation, we as a board are allowed to ask. Well, we have a one-time rule where we say, okay, you have one chance to like call them, and if it gets to a level of escalation, then they will need to leave, and they won't be able to be heard. Yes. So we've really, this has been a big year. So, and it's a large time commitment, and I'm there for the time commitment, 4 times a week, 2 sessions each. So morning and afternoon.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Any others? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right, thank you. All right, next up is Deb Dawson for a reappointment to the Board of Equalization for a term expiring April 14th, 2028.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
Fine.
Thank you for being here. Tell us about, and you are currently the chair of the Board of Equalization.
Madam Chair.
So we should ask you an extra hard question, right? Tell us a little bit about your service and why you'd like to continue. And
Well, it's a hard job, but somebody has to do it, right? Well, I just, first of all, thank to my board members. I have an awesome board, and I'm so lucky to be a chair of that board. This is my 3rd term, 2nd time as chair. And it's a lot of work. You learn a lot. You get a chance to meet a lot of people. But I know that this is a tough time because of the property taxes, the valuations have. I'm a realtor as well, so I know about valuations. But so you just have to be out there and just be of service. People have a right to appeal their taxes, and they have a right to be heard. And I want to be there for them, to listen, and for us to be fair. We're an independent board, and we have to. Somebody interrupted me. And my councilman over just loves me, so.
That's true. Any other questions for Chair Dawson?
Well, I don't need to say anything else after that.
Okay.
And I want to thank you for the opportunity, all of you.
Thank you. All right. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting?
Thank
you.
Have a great evening.
Thanks, Deb.
Next up, we have John Green for Board of Equalization appointment for term expiring April 14th, 2028. I've known John for some time, and he's in District 18. And I know that, before I ask him questions, I know that John Green can run a meeting. He was chair of the Traffic and Parking Commission, and he was chair for many years of the Belmont Neighborhood Advisory Group. And not only is he smart and fair-minded, but he, like I said, he knows how to run a meeting, and I think he'll be a great asset to the Board of Equalization. And you've been working as an alternate.
For 2 years. Thank you, council member, for your kind words, and thank you, council members. My professional career is I'm in the property management, project management, building evaluation business, and I've been all over Nashville doing that business and done everything from low-income housing, Section 8 housing, to multi-million-dollar homes, warehouses, commercial strip centers, and everything in between. So, very familiar with towns and valuation process, et cetera. And it's been very fascinating over the last particularly year, hearing all the appeals with the reassessment, and the knowledge of the city and different areas of town really helps, because while there is a mass assessment, when you hear the appeals, everything becomes a very unique property, and having that granular knowledge is very, very, very helpful. And then we do have a good board, and it's so I'd like to continue serving. I'm in the process of kind of retiring. I'm either semi-retired or semi-working, depending on the day. And so I have the time, because we're doing 8 sessions a week, and I've usually 2 or 3 sessions every week. So I have the time to commit, because we're trying to really break the log jam.
Thank you, sir. Any
Thank
questions? Yes.
Just an acknowledgement. I've known John for a while. Great guy. He's got the experience and everything we need for this position. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Anything else? All right. Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 7 to 0 to 0. Thank you, sir.
Very much. I'll take the WeGo pass. I'll roll
Yeah,
the bus.
awesome. All right. I ran into you, Ed.
Thank you, everybody.
Good to see you, John.
All right,
See you
John.
again.
All right, and so I think we're moving down to the appointment of Carnell Scruggs for a term expiring April 15th, 2028. Come on down. And you were an appointment. Were you an alternate before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your experience. Assure us that you have the time to do it and the qualifications.
Right. I've been serving for the last 3 years, and I was asked to continue. And I just want to provide my long-time service as a commercial real estate advisor to the city. And we are mandated by the state to conduct the rules and regulations trainings, which I've received. And so, like I said, as a long-time commercial real estate practitioner, some of the valuation methods are very detailed and complex, in which I'm used to doing by being involved in the commercial real estate industry.
Thank you. Sounds very qualified to me. I'm glad you're helping out and doing it and willing to continue. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
I just want to speak in support of Mr. Scruggs. He's been in the community for a very long time. Been very influential in many aspects, not just while he served as an alternate on this board, but has been very influential in many administrations, and so I think he will be very beneficial. So.
Thank you. Anything else? Ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 7 to 0 to 0. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
All right, and I think that's now I need to go back to.
We got Melba. We got one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Where did I miss?
Melba
Jackson.
Oh, I am so sorry. Melba Jackson. Come down. Please join us.
I can go back to an alternate. Not a problem.
All right, and this is a reappointment, so you've been a member.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your experience and why you're willing to continue and goals you have.
Okay, I've been working with the assessor's office for like the past 8 years, where I started as a hearing officer, but I've been a member of the board for 2 terms now. And I would really like to continue that, because I like servicing the community as well as being fair and equitable for both the appraisers as well as the appellants. So I really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to just serving again if you all would have me. I am available. I'm a not a past realtor. I'm a realtor now. So I know I've been a realtor for 10 years, so I know about evaluations and all of that. So I'm just looking to provide my services again for the 3rd term.
We appreciate that. Thank you. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting?
Of course, going.
7-0. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. All right, now I go back. Thank you for that correction. Is it Laurie Cass is first? Yep, Laurie Cass. Right, and so now we're starting to interview alternates. And so,
Hello, hi.
how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So I'm going to ask just a couple of quick questions. Do you have the time to serve on the Equalization Board?
Yes, I do.
All right, and just like professionally, what qualifications, what kind of work or
Well,
skill do you
I've been a
have that-
licensed realtor broker for 26 years, and I have actually served at the property assessor's office for 16 years. I was a hearing officer for 11 years, serving the public, and I have been on an alternate on this board for 5 years. So I'm the one with most experience.
That sounds good to me. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
We're at 8 now. All right. Any against? Any not voting? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And now the Board of Equalization appointment of Truett Ellis as an alternate for a term expiring April 14th, 2028. Come on down. Just, as I asked Ms. Cast, just do you have the time? It seems like this is a very busy board these days.
It is.
And you have the time to do that?
I'm an alternate. I've been on the board since late 21, early 22.
Okay.
And I've always told them I'm good for about one session most weeks.
Okay.
And so I've been able to maintain that, and that's what I plan to keep doing until I have me.
Sounds good. And what qualifications?
I have an odd resume. I started as a physician, but I've been an investor in commercial real estate and sometimes developer, and so property owner in Davidson County, and that's my qualification. And I've always been, that's my real interest is in the commercial properties and making sure people get a fair hearing, because so much that's passed on to businesses in Nashville.
Yep.
So.
Okay, any questions or
Mr.
comments?
Conley,
Yes.
you come from the right district, District 23, so.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? Thank you. All right, next is Farmer has been withdrawn. Next is Michael Milner.
Good evening.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great.
So just like I've been asking quick answers, you have the time, you understand the work and have the time to serve on the Board of Equalization as an alternate? And professionally, what can you share that
I've been a
about your
commercial
qualifications?
and residential real estate licensed agent and investor for 20-plus years. I understand, appreciate, and really enjoy valuations, and pretty expert at that. I think that the service, to be fair and equitable, is more than just words. Things that this entire board does and works really hard at. The commitment that we're making could be eased if council would look at some of the code that restricts who can be a chair of a meeting and who cannot be a chair of a meeting, because that restricts the number of sessions that we can have, or if we can do concurrent sessions. And we have a backlog that goes all the way into 2027.
Can you be a little more specific about what you mean about what council can do to, like my understanding is that for session, at least one person has to be a member as opposed to an alternate. Is it something along those lines that also determines the chair?
I'm sorry. The code says that 5 members, that's in the code, right? Okay.
Right.
And you have to be a member in order to chair a session. You have to have a minimum of 3 to have a quorum for a session. So our chairs, our members, are getting run raggedy, okay? And one of the complaints that we hear is that, the time and how far out we're pushing them. I mean, we're not going to skimp on in terms of giving attention to every taxpayer that comes in there, okay? So in order to do anything like become more efficient, we will look at concurrent boards or concurrent sessions. We're already burning everybody out now, okay? So we need more alternates, and alternates need to have the ability to also chair, and the codification needs to reflect that, because right now it restricts that only to members. Is that
That makes sense.
That makes
Yes,
sense.
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. And I've been looking at the schedule and just not believing that.
It's a science, mostly it's 85, and then it's an art form, right? But we're there to get it right. We're there to get it right, and we want to get it right. And sometimes John and my other colleagues, we kind of argue, but let's keep it going. But you know, we have to get it right. Everybody who comes in there deserves a look, okay? A good, hard look.
We appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting?
I have a question. Do you validate?
Right there is the yes.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, man.
All right, thank you. All right, the appointment of Israel Nellis as an alternate for a term expiring April 14th, 2028.
Good evening, how are you all?
Good, how are you, sir? All right, you understand the work and have the time to serve as an alternate?
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
Okay, thank you. Tell us a little bit about your qualifications.
Thank you guys again for taking the time. My name is Israel Nellis. I am 8th generation Nashville native. My family has been here, since the beginning almost. So basically, my family's done a lot in real estate as far as developing North Nashville, Buena Vista, downtown. I am currently a realtor, also service big development groups here, along with being an investor myself, also being a homeowner myself, and having all parts. I've seen the city change from when I was a kid, 15-minute city, to now 45-minute city getting across. So I want to be a part of that change, and of course make sure it's equitable. Again, I'm touching all those spaces with the people with billions and the people who don't have as much. So how do we create that space and balance within the tax assessor's office and stuff? So that's why I'm here.
I think that's definitely that's important. I agree. All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, Board of Equalization appointment Mia Parker as an alternate for a term expiring April 14th, 2028. Ms. Parker, thank you. I'm going to ask you what I asked others real quick. We're learning that there's a lot going on. You have the time to serve as an alternate
Yes,
on
this
this?
would be a reappointment. Mhm.
Right, okay,
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
And so, in addition to what you just said, what else, tell us a little bit about your qualifications for the work.
Well, I really enjoy what I do. I'm a commercial and residential realtor. I've been in real estate for a little over 5 years. Seeing firsthand essentially how these property values and market conditions impact residents really is impactful, and sitting on the board for my first term, which has been this past term, has been really an eye-opening experience, but I enjoy what I do. I love to serve and make sure that we're, assessing the values as equitably and fairly as possible. I love our process. I really stand by the process of allowing our residents to present, and then hearing from our appraisal, and then we kind of go from there and make a decision. And so far, so good. And I kind of want to just enjoy doing it and keep going and continue to serve. Proud to be at Davidson County.
I just wondered this just came to me, and it's nothing major, but where do you all have these meetings? Where do they take place?
They're at the is it the Howard Howard
in her office?
Yeah,
Okay.
Vivian
Oh, okay.
Villahoyt's
Gotcha.
conference room.
I gotcha.
And I know there's been some talks about possibly relocating and all of that, but we love where we are. It's centrally located. It's secure. We feel safe. So yeah.
All right, thank you for your service. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and so that takes us to Derek Starks. Is that where we are? Yep. Appointment of Derek Starks as an alternate for a term expiring April 14th, 2028.
Yeah, that's what I understand. So I was just going to wait.
Okay, so just kind of like as I've been asking others, this is something. Is this new for you, or you
Reappointment.
Okay, reappointment.
Yeah,
right.
reappointment.
So, and you would know if you have the time for it and want to
Yes,
continue,
have the time
and you
for
are
it.
stepping up. Thank you.
Stepping up.
Or
actually stepping down. I was board member to alternate now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your qualifications.
So, real estate broker, maybe 13 years, real estate investor, maybe 25 years, banker, do some development. So all aspects of real estate, commercial is what I'm a brokerage for. And enjoyed serving. So that's the main thing, just making sure each case gets a fair look and got a great board, and so glad to commit the time to do it.
Thank you. We're learning that you do have a great board. We're meeting everybody today. All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 8-0. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
Appreciate your work. All right, next up, we took care of all the Board of Equalizations. I know we moved through that. I know we want to make sure that we have those, keep having those meetings, and so there was a part of me that wanted to say, hey, can we defer some till next time? But I want us to get those those Board of Equalizations members and alternates on the job. All right, next is the Planning Commission reappointment of Greg Atkins for a term expiring March 31st, 2030. Come on up, sir. And so tell us a little, this is reappointment, obviously. Remind me how many terms you've been on the?
I think 4.
4, okay.
It's like 14 years, I think.
Okay, so tell us why you want to continue after all that. No, we appreciate your.
No, I just feel a need to serve the city. I love Nashville. I learned a lot about planning when I was a councilman, and I don't know where else I would use that knowledge. Other than the Planning Commission. But no, I'm very proud of the team, the staff, and I think the team, the Planning Commission, over the years has become a better and better organization. I feel like I tell people we have a full bench there. I think we have really good staff members. I feel like we have a really good relationship with the council, and we really try to do good things on the Planning Commission. And you know, it's always controversial, as y'all know, but we really do try to do our best. So my wife asked me why I wanted to do it again, and I said, well, Nashville's important to me, and as a longtime resident of Creve Hall, it's something I really do care about.
Sounds good, and I'm not disputing your what you have said here, but if there was something, if there's a goal that you have for next term or something you think you could do that the commission could do a little better, is there any kind of like, hey, we could really focus on this a little bit more?
I think that we still have big gaps in affordable housing, and I think that there's some more opportunity there that we're working on. You know, we've developed the housing division of, bless you, part of the housing division of the department. I think that there's more that we can do on affordable housing, which I think is really important to everyone.
Yes, sir.
I have a problem with Mr. Atkins. Just kidding. We're in the hotel world together, and he's the one that sort of got me to run for office, and I still have a problem with that. But otherwise he's a good guy.
It's all his fault.
All Greg Atkins.
Yes, Councilmember, Vice Chair.
So I was just obviously in front of you guys last week with several opportunities in my area. And one thing I really appreciate, and it feels like it's gotten really good over time, is the acknowledgement from the commission of resident concerns and kind of acknowledging those and making sure they're on the record, because I think that sometimes residents in the past maybe felt dismissed, like their concerns didn't matter, and I think you guys do a really good job of that. And I think one thing, I guess, that I have a question about is, like, one of the items that I had, you know, the vice chair made a comment of, like, we really need to be thoughtful about development in this area based on the infrastructure kind of requirements. And how can we elevate, like, the holistic side of, like, what we do? Because, you know, we tend to look at it based on, like, what's the zoning ask. And to your point, there's a lot of tension between affordability, like where we're headed if we don't make some structural changes around zoning opportunities, like how people are getting pushed out, the cost of housing. But at the same time, like, there's that undercurrent of, yeah, we probably need to navigate, like, this issue in this area. And sometimes NDOT doesn't always look at it that way. They're looking at it more project by project. And so do you have any recommendations?
Well, I think a couple of things, and one is we initiated the housing study, and then also the infrastructure study is underway. And I think we've heard a lot about infrastructure needs not being met. A lot of that is that we don't have the money. We don't have enough money to go across the county with some of those needs. And so figuring that infrastructure piece out with a balance of housing, because if you stop development or building, I think there's a lot of arguments that will only increase the cost of housing. And so I think there's a balance, and that's why we have the infrastructure study underway. We've done a lot of studies over time, and once we finish the infrastructure study and see how it turns out, I think there's some more opportunity to figure out that holistic piece for the county. And that's why I think also it's tied into affordable housing. I think at some point, just to be truthful to you all, is that on affordable housing, we've tried to do incentives, we tried to do many of those types of things, but it's probably, we're gonna just have to fund affordable housing and find a creative way to figure out how we can issue bonds for it. I mean, I think that and I think long-term wise, that discussion has to be made. Can we afford it as a city? How would we go about doing it? We would probably need help from the state to figure out that bonding piece. I think there's some opportunities, and I think the first step for us was to create the housing division, and I think the team, like Angie in the housing, in the affordable housing section, I think there's some more ideas. And it's also about bringing community together, business leaders, affordable housing advocates, and figure out that path. I think that's important.
Just a quick acknowledgement, the bill that I had on public comment today can be deferred, but I've been meeting with NDOT and housing or planning for the last 6 weeks, and we're going to defer it till September. It's just in advance, but exactly to address that issue, how do we go forward strategically with traffic and other issues with housing density increase? So,
and I Council Lady, I want everybody to have a good experience when they come. I'm a firm believer in good government, and I've been around long enough to. I want every interaction with government to be a good one, especially at the Planning Commission, because it's dealing generally with your own property or your neighbor. And I feel like we are doing a better job as commissioners to address that and address those neighbors' concerns. And a lot of times they don't understand because the planning is very complex, and there are a lot of nuances, and so thank you for saying that. I think that we still have some work to do to make every citizen feel like they've had a good experience. And that is something that I think comes with, I know a lot of the current, we've had a lot of turnover in commissioners, and I think training the commissioners, and we have some really good ones still left on the commission. Well, all of them are good, but just making sure that. I mean, so you know what I'm saying. Well, there was Stuart, but no, I love Stuart. He's a good friend of mine. I don't mean that, but I just think that it's important that that's a really complicated commission, and understanding what goes on during that. And I try to really tell the team, especially Lucy and Lisa that works with the council members, we really try to take care of the council members and your concerns and your constituents. So thank you. Thank you for coming to the, I know.
I'll be back.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Thank you. Anything else? Yes.
Just a question. Is there any requirement on how recent these pictures are? This is another one where I'm looking at his resume and realizing just how long we've known each other. It goes back to at least 2000.
Yeah,
we won't get into that.
All right,
but
we will, Mr. Atkinson, 2030 we will be looking for.
I didn't have any exposure to the planning commission before being elected. Yeah, it's before, it predates your Blue Book picture. That's amazing. I didn't have any exposure to the planning commission before being elected, but having gone there a few times now and seen the kind of delicate issues that come before them, and the way Greg handles those issues and makes everyone feel heard, I'm very appreciative of his willingness to serve in this capacity.
All right, anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 8-0 to 0. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I want to move deferral of the reappointment of Jessica Farr, one meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right, and next up, we have the Public Library Board reappointment of Charvis Rand, her term expiring April 6, 2023. I'm sorry, 2033. Wow. I'm sorry, you corrected me on the pronunciation. Say it again.
Jarvis Rand.
Jarvis Rand.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And this is a reappointment, so tell us a little about your experience so far and why you want to continue.
Well, one of the things about myself, I work at Nashville State Community College, so education to me is a tool that brings opportunity to our society. It's more of a lifestyle, not a choice, but a lifestyle. And the reason why my experience here being part of this library board, it's not just a place of information, it's a place of transformation. I have seen many of our constituents that experience over the thousands of programs, like for example, the computer science program where they're teaching to the senior citizens, teaching them to not be afraid of going from A-track to AI, lifestyle. I have seen people that have participated in in the Bordeaux area during the holiday party where they come together as a community and enjoy festivities together. And guess what? And they read information or come together and read the books and come together and have conversations about that. I have seen people, for example, at the Edmondson Library where they have a partnership with Valor Collegiate Charter School College and helping them build a garden. I have seen the 25th anniversary at Madison. I have seen Hermitage Library, whereas it's like an old school Nashville type culture where where people really just go in and just integrate themselves into the environment. And then I have seen the wonderful staff at the library take metaphorically their bottom lip and pull it over their heads because all the programs that they have, I'm like, how are you able to make this happen? But they always come back with data and show proof and evidence that they're able to produce it. I'll stop right there.
Do you have enough passion for this?
Serving is a lifestyle. And seeing them and being the father of 2 kids and seeing my kids get excited every time we go to the library, you can't help it. You're supposed to be passionate about it.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Councilmember Spool.
Thank you so much for your willingness to continue to serve. I really do appreciate your passion for this work. A library can change a life, and an after-school program can change a life, and so it's important to have people like yourself doing this type of work. I am very happy to know that the downtown library is going to reopen again.
Yes.
Yes, I saw that.
And I was at Soup and Solidarity, is that what it was called? Yes. With some SEIU library workers, was it this past weekend? And they brought some things to our attention. Some of my colleagues were also there. They had concerns about downtown library staff continuing to pay for parking, and then some safety concerns at many of the branches for staff and people of the public who continue to go to different branches. I think the downtown branch is the only one that has security. No, there's multiple ones, but there's still some security concerns. So would love to have a conversation about that at some point, as well as I owe our director a follow-up about a project that I've been having on my radar for some time. But yes, I think there's some things that would love to talk about, as well as there are several maintenance issues that had been backlogged for several administrations.
Absolutely. So many buildings are around the same age, and like the HVAC systems are going down. Those HVAC systems cost millions and millions of dollars. And I agree with you there, because my background is technology and operations, and I do bring up questions to Susan as well about that, like what are some of the strategic plans, or what are you going to do as far as fix some of those ongoing issues? And then as far as security, I have had conversations as well with, for example, with Susan to say maybe we need to look at cloud-based technology like Avocado cameras, which are cloud-based cameras where it have unlimited storage, whereas it can help identify who people are and things of that type of nature. So it's an ongoing conversation that I think about as well.
I'll push back against the cameras because I don't like those, but I would love to bring those outside contractors in-house, right? That way we could get them vested, right? And they would become, Metro employees.
Absolutely.
And they could have pensions, and we could, have them paid a real salary, because I think they're paid around 40,000. Some it's not a whole lot, and so having them be able to make living wages and have benefits, I think would be beneficial, and
I concur.
have them be trained. Further conversations as we go into budget cycles, but just something to keep on y'all's radar.
And as a person that works at a community college with over 8,300 students, security is one of our top priorities as well.
Yep.
So I am in firm agreement with you.
So.
Anything else, committee members? All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 8 to 0 to 0. Don't forget the,
I think I won already.
Okay, good job. All right.
You all take care.
Last on the interviews is the Traffic and Parking Commission reappointment of Brandon Mason for a term expiring April 3rd, 2031. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
They're fine. Get the validation first. There you go.
Interesting choice. Yeah.
Hey, so this is a reappointment. So you've been serving for a term or two?
One term.
One term, all right. So tell us about what you, the experience you gained and why you'd like to continue serving the Traffic and Parking Commission.
Yeah, so ironically, I'm the longest tenured person on the commission now. We've had some turnover. I took over for John Green, who was a great mentor of mine while I was on the commission, and fortunate to become chairman now. But I own a construction company, and we perform. We work with Rigo Metro Transit, and work in the right of way a lot. So very passionate about pedestrian safety, public transportation, and ensuring that Nashville, we continue to support the infrastructure based on the growth of how Nashville is growing. So it has been a great experience, and I've learned a lot while on the commission, and have developed some strong relationships with people, and look forward to continuing to serve another term.
What issues that come before the commission are like the most, what's the word I want to use, the most troubling or the most difficult to work through?
My first meeting was vending on Broadway, so that was a good initiation, right? We got through that. I think now, residential parking and paid parking is something as we roll out more parking meters and things, and then definitely safety around speed limits and stop signs. I think stop signs and where we put them and how we implement that is something that gets a lot of attention. We do have some very passionate commissioners on the committee. I welcome open dialogue, and you've been to a few of our meetings. There's definitely some structured, constructive conversations. But overall, I think those are the main items that are really hot button items right now.
Thanks.
Yeah. What accounts for the turnover that you referenced?
I think one, Chair Green, Ms. Sarah Lee Wood, I think they've been on the commission for 15 years, right? So I think it was just time for them to roll off, and some of the other people had been on there for multiple terms. And I think more recently it's just been hard to find people that are either committed. I think some people have moved or have taken different jobs or whatnot that couldn't support, didn't support their schedule. I know that the mayor's office is working hard to fill those seats, but I think it's taking some time to get some people where we rolled off commissioners that had been on for multiple terms to find that sweet spot again with the people that are willing to stay.
All right. Thank you. Anything else? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 8-0 to 0. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you all.
Thanks for your work. All right, and then this is from, we got, oh, wow. These are the ones from last time. All right, so I'm gonna read through these as a consent agenda. We did interview all these, right? There's no, right. For the Action Commission, the reappointment of Shalon Haji for a term expiring February 2nd, 2029. For the Employee Benefits Study and Formulating Committee, the appointment of Margaret Darby for a term expiring March 3rd, 2031. For the Employee Benefits Study and Formulating Committee, the appointment of Leslie Farmer for a term expiring March 3rd, 2031. The Employee Benefits Study and Formulating Committee, appointment of Glenn Farner for a term expiring March 3rd, 2031. For the Employee Benefits Study and Evaluating Committee, the appointment of Gary Moore for a term expiring March 3rd, 2031. Same committee, the appointment of John Tischler for a term expiring March 3rd, 2031. For the Fire and Building Code Appeals Board, the reappointment of Anthony Locke for a term expiring March 1st, 2030. For the Sports Authority, the appointment of John Glassmeyer for a term expiring February 17th, 2030. For the Sports Authority, reappointment of Anna Page for a term expiring February 19th, 2032. Sports Authority appointment of Kendall Poole for a term expiring February 19th, 2032. Sports Authority appointment of Adam Sanzaveri for a term expiring February 19th, 2032. Sports Authority appointment of Victor Wynn for a term expiring February 17th, 2030. And can I get a motion on the consolidated commission appointments? Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, and now two things. The amendment to Rules of Procedure, Rule 13.4, filing deadlines, emergency items by Evans, Skupin, and Ellis. Councilmember Evans, do you want to, or can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All right, Councilmember Evans, do you want to speak to your
Sure.
rule change?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So basically, of course, when we had the ice storm, there were individuals on the body that wanted to bring forward resolutions that were non-binding, but we basically couldn't get past the threshold of the vice mayor approving them. And so I felt like that was probably relinquishing some of our power as a council to have those resolutions come to the Rules Committee. And so that's why I wanted to bring this forward. Hopefully we will not have any additional states of emergency the rest of this term, but because this rules package that we have approved sets the stage for the next council, that's one reason why I'd like to pass it, so that way it kind of lays the foundation for the next body to review and consider if they'd like to include this as part of their rules.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions?
I think it's a good minute.
All right, let's vote. Wait, we didn't do it
Sorry,
yet.
Chair, what threshold, specific, can you elaborate a little bit?
Basically, the vice mayor has to approve the resolutions, or late filed, and so we didn't have the ability, and I don't know that necessarily content-wise, like I don't know the content of the resolutions that people wanted to bring, but we didn't get a chance to hear them because it puts her in a position of she has to measure, is it worth, being considered, should she approve it, should she give an exception, those kinds of things. So it's essentially taking that exception discussion out of it for her, because if the resolution would meet the standard, if it's related to the emergency, and we're in a state of emergency, then it would allow members to bring things forward for us to consider.
All right, anything else? All in favor of the rule change?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right, thank you. All right, and then last but not least, the amendment to Rules of Procedure, Rule 50, election to boards and commissions. And this is, it was introduced, this is the first meeting it's been on our agenda, and so it will be deferred for a meeting by rule. Do you want to speak to it? Or do we want to go ahead?
I'll give quick context. I know you all have been sitting here for a while. So this hopefully will clear up the boards and commissions challenge. I know I've faced now twice with a nominee or someone that I was supportive of, where, as you know, mayoral appointments and vice mayoral appointments, if they can't make a meeting for their interview, they can be deferred multiple times to their convenience, whereas for council, we can't do that. So I think we're actually limiting our body's power to select people, and if there's very willing and able people that want to serve boards and commissions, I think they should be given ample opportunity to come and do their interview. And so what this would allow for is if somebody would be called for their interview, and if they can't make it, it would allow a council member then to request, or someone on the committee to make a motion for deferral to the next meeting to be interviewed right before the election that night. And it's what we've done previously, but it would take away the need for the suspension of the rules to do so. And I think that understandably so, when you're dealing with an election and then suspension of the rules, it's very likely that if that goes to the floor and you need a suspension, and this is someone that the people that didn't want to vote for this person in the first place would maybe object to the suspension of the rules and kind of have a de facto election in that capacity. So to me, this is a kind of housekeeping. I think it cleans it up. It allows for folks to continue to serve who've been serving and not ask people to cancel family plans or travel or family functions to then volunteer for the city.
So, in the second, part 2, and you may have said this, but the new portion, upon the separate approvals of the Rules Committee and the Council, so that both bodies would have to defer.
Correct.
To defer. Okay.
It's effectively what's happening now, just without the need for suspension of the rules.
Right. All right, thank you. I think it's deferred by rule, yes.
Well, just a quick question, speaking of deferred by rule, what does that do with the other rule that says one meeting deferral out of a committee is an automatic one meeting deferral on the floor? Maybe just something to think about if it.
Yeah, that may just need to be a clerical fix.
Wait, the automatic deferral, so this is a, but the automatic deferral, I believe, relates to resolutions and ordinances.
Okay.
I know for a fact it doesn't relate to rule changes. I don't think the rule says that it relates to appointments and interviews.
Okay. Thank you.
But let's check it before next time, but I think that's correct. All right, anything else? Yes.
I'm going to be voting against this for a couple of reasons. I think the mayoral appointments are different in that they are not competing against different options from the council body, right? And so it's just one appointment for a specific position. We specifically set up the 2-meeting process to give council members the opportunity to go back and watch the interviews because we had concerns about previous nominees, right? And so it gave council members that opportunity, right, to sit with it, see if anything came up. And we have used that in several different ways. That is why some people have been withdrawn. It gave us more time to bring up questions, see if concerns could be answered, et cetera. And a lot of the public doesn't necessarily get to see that process fold out on the network or on YouTube or whatever. But we have utilized that quite a bit. In the past, when, and I could point to Councilmember Allen, when she has said, my member can't make it, does this mean that I have to withdraw? The answer has been yes, when I have been chair. And it has been a adamant yes, and it has been said in this process for a very long time. So it also comes back to the question, if they can't change their plans to be here for an interview, will they be able to make it to those meetings on the commission? Like, that is another question I'm gonna have when they come here for the interview process. So I don't want to change those rules because people have vacations or things like that. Now, I know that some people had work commitments. The question's still gonna be the same. You know, are they going to be able to make those commission meetings? And if that is the case, then we have to look at the process of when those commission meetings are happening, and can we change the commission meetings to make sure that they are able to attend? And we still have the working group to make sure that we're making this as workable as possible for all of our volunteers. So those are some of the concerns I have with the rule change.
Thanks. We're over, and I'd like first, real quick.
Super quick.
All right, because we will have to, we will
Yeah.
get to discuss it in 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, less than 30 seconds, and I'll dive deeper into those. But I appreciate the concerns. I think any rule change is worth vetting. I think a couple things that I would say. First of all, that can be taken into consideration, right? I'm supportive of the rule change to have the interview with enough time to watch, and so the reasoning for their inability to attend, and that can be taken into a member's consideration. Member could decide that I'm not going to consider someone that couldn't make it to that meeting. That's totally someone's prerogative, but another member might say, that's fine, I don't need that time, or I was able to watch. So I think that's a piece of it. The piece about the commission attendance, the issue is twofold. If this was notice that was given 6 months ago, hey, your term's coming up in 6 months, please mark on your calendar Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 p.m., we really need you here for that interview, I'd have less of an issue with it, but as we all know, we usually get that notice a month out. So to me, it's a notice issue in some senses, that it's hard to ask somebody, hey, in less than 30 days, can you clear your schedule on this day? And then about commission attendance, if the interviews took place during the commission itself, I could understand why we might say, well, if you can't make it during that commission, maybe you can't make it during the commission. But for example, the latest example for transportation licensing, that individual has had near perfect attendance at the commission that is during lunchtime. And he's able to make those meetings regularly, but the evening was a little bit different, and this was something that he only found out about a couple weeks in advance. So again, we got obviously more discussion coming. I appreciate the questions, and I'll obviously think through those as well. But I appreciate the consideration.
Okay, thank you. Ready to adjourn?
Yep.
Let's adjourn.
We got it done. Thank y'all for just working through this, because I know this was a bear. Thank you, Chair, for your work.
We almost made it.
Well, I mean.